have something to say, and we want to hear it. KBLA Talk 1580 is engagement radio, not outrage radio. A place where your hopes, your frustrations, and your ideas are welcome 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Real talk, real people, real Los Angeles. KBLA Talk 1580, the station that sounds like the city looks. Tune in on your AM radio dial at 1580. Download our free KBLA 1580 app or listen live on our website at KBLA1580.com.
Unapologetically progressive. Keep on. Never say die. Keep on. Like this. Keep on. Never say die. Keep on. Like this. Never say die. Never say die. Keep on. Never say die. Like this. Never say die. All of this.
In the midst of sorrow, you can see up and down. A brighter day tomorrow will bring. Oh, you hear the voice of reason telling you this can never be done. No matter how hard reality seems, just hold on to your dreams, yeah. As long as you keep your head in the sky, can we? As long as you keep your head in the sky, you can believe this. As long as you keep your head toward the sky. If things around you crumble, no, you don't have to stumble and fall. Keep pushing on and don't you look back. Oh, I know the storms and strife out of your outlook. Oh, life, just think ahead and you'll be inspired to reach higher and higher. That's what I thought you said. As long as you keep your head in the sky.
You're listening and streaming A More Perfect Union. I'm James Farr. I am in for the good doctor, Nii-Quartelai Quartey, who is away on assignment in the Havana, Cuba, with a special delegation. They're on an urgency and fact-finding mission to really specifically find out how this embargo is impacting our Afro-Cuban brothers and sisters. Nii-Quartelai has been there all this week. You heard him yesterday. You're going to hear him today in just a moment. You'll also hear from him tomorrow. Let's take it away, Nii-Quartelai.
Nii-Quartelai here on the ground in Cuba, along with the Mutual Solidarity and Engagement Fact-Finding Delegation to Cuba. I'm standing here with Dr. Johnny J. Mack. He is scholar practitioner with the National Action Network. In fact, their International Affairs chair. We just came out of a pretty remarkable meeting with the Deputy Foreign Minister of Cuba. Dr. Mack, what was your immediate reaction?
It was an incredible discussion with the foreign minister, Niku. I was just impressed with his frankness and openness about the challenges confronting the Cuban people, and to get this information firsthand is really helpful to the work that we're doing here in Cuba.
Yeah, it was pretty remarkable, the command that the deputy foreign minister had of U.S. politics and U.S. issues at one point in time, sort of comparing the way we talk about political prisoners in Cuba to the way that we punish black and brown Americans in the legal system in the United States.
Not only of U.S. policy, but his feel and touch of the African American community responding to concerns and questions that were asked. I was impressed with the depth of his understanding and the solidarity between peoples of color, particularly African Americans in the U.S., and people of color, of course, Afro-Cubans here in Cuba.
Yeah. Pretty remarkable statements. He really painted a picture of the impact that is being had by this energy crisis induced by a very aggressive U.S. policy. What was your reaction to the fact that so many allies of Cuba have been put at bay because of this U.S. policy?
Well, it is striking the power that the U.S. has globally, its reach.
Go ahead.
It's really striking the reach that the U.S. has and its power in that reach, not only in this region but globally, to literally dictate how nation states interact with each other in enforcing its own will was quite incredible, as the deputy minister explained it.
Was there anything the deputy minister shared that surprised even you? I mean, you follow international politics quite closely. You've been tracking, developments here in Cuba, as we all have. Was there anything that was shocking to you?
I can't say shocking. However, his comments helped me to understand better the importance of the solidarity that is essential globally for people struggling to realize their human rights and to build the kind of world that, quite frankly, Dr. Martin Luther King spoke of in his idea of the World House. And so while the foreign minister didn't mention that specifically, I came away with the sense that he too shares this idea of a world house where we must all live and work together, or we're going to all perish as fools.
Yeah. One of the questions that I had a chance to ask the deputy foreign minister was about political prisoners. There are a number of people who are listening to this, watching this, that will say, but you didn't ask him about political prisoners. Well, I did ask him. Was there any part of his answer that surprised you?
Well, I greatly appreciated, first of all, Doc, that you asked the question. And I was very impressed with the foreign minister's response. You break the law in Cuba, then you're subject to the law in Cuba, as in the United States. Whether we agree or disagree with their position, the idea that states have a right to their sovereignty, and the United States exercises that right both internally and externally, through policing and, of course, through war. And that same thing applies to Cuba and any other nation state around the globe. We can't have two standards, two sets of standards where one applies to privileged nations, if you will, and the other applies to those subject to those privileged nations. And so that's what I came away with in terms of his response.
Yeah. And lastly, I thought he painted a really compelling picture of the impact that the fuel embargo is having on the people of Cuba. He talked at length about the impact, on pregnant mothers,
yes,
the impact on children, the impact on some of the hospitals here in Cuba. And, you know, I know when we drove in, we saw vacant gas stations, vacant supermarkets. And so, you know, make no mistake about it, the impact is being felt. The stranglehold on their economy is being felt. Do you sense that there's any end game on their end?
You know, I don't know about you, but I didn't hear that end game. In fact, what I heard from the foreign minister is that this is probably the worst time of any time for Cuba, with the stranglehold of this embargo in its various forms, economic, maritime, technological. The embargo is having a profound impact on the lives of ordinary citizens here in Cuba. And that therein lies the challenge for us and all others who care about human rights.
Yeah. Indeed we do. We're going to continue to follow the facts here on the ground as we continue to travel here in Cuba with the Mutual Solidarity and Engagement Fact-Finding Delegation.
Thank you, Dr. Nii-Quartelai, for that important update live from Havana, Cuba. Looking forward to your next update tomorrow, right here on KBLA Talk 1580, A More Perfect Union. Hey, folks, when we come forward, I am too excited to get into this conversation. We're going to have some fun, but we're going to have a little bit of seriousness, too. A little bit of joy, a little bit of pain. Al Reynolds, Vincent Jones, they're in the seat. They join me shortly. We got to talk about Trump doing the 14th Amendment, get their reaction on this crisis in Havana, Cuba. Then we're going to have a little bit of fun later in the hour, a little bit of joy, a little bit of pain. Black graduation doing too much or not enough? Only to stay with us, only on KBLA Talk 1580. We got a lot to talk about.
You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Javier Becerra isn't new to the fight for progress. In Congress, he helped write and pass Obamacare. As Attorney General, he sued Trump over 120 times and won. As Secretary of Health, Becerra took on special interests and lowered drug costs. Endorsed by Planned Parenthood and nurses, Javier Becerra is the fighter we need and the leader we can trust to tackle California's affordability crisis, build more affordable housing, and stop Trump when he violates our civil rights. Ad paid for by Becerra for Governor 2026.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
We don't do ordinary. This is KBLA Talk 1580.
Let's celebrate.
Y'all did it!
Loving each other, needing each other.
Hey, Los Angeles, KBLA Talk 1580 is turning 5, and we're celebrating in a big way.
Oh my God!
Join us Friday, June 19th, Juneteenth, 4 to 7 p.m. at the Beehive for our 5th anniversary bash and Juneteenth celebration.
Oh, celebrate!
We're talking surprise celebrity guests, a special presentation, and a major announcement you will not want to miss.
I can't wait to hear it.
Plus, live music, dancing, games, and enough food and drink to keep the party going.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Of course, you're welcome to bring your own picnic basket, blanket, and lawn chair. And the best part, it's completely free.
Hello, hello.
But here's the thing. You've got to sign up in advance. Space is limited, so don't wait. Head to KBLA1580.com right now and lock in your spot. Friday, June 19th, The Beehive, KBLA Talk 1580. 5 years strong, and we're just getting started.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
We have no permanent friends or permanent enemies, only permanent interests as we effort to build a more perfect union.
You're listening and streaming A More Perfect Union right here on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm James Farr. I'm sitting in for the good Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, who just blessed us with his update live from Havana, Cuba. But in this second hour, boy, I'm excited, as I told y'all, to be in community and in conversation with these two very distinguished and accomplished brothers joining us tonight. Vincent Jones is a strategist, a connector, a civic leader whose work spans politics, communication, philanthropy, community, and engagement. And then also in that other seat, he's no stranger. Now y'all have to let me finish this first, right? Before you offer critique or praise, okay? He's a television host, a commentator, professor, media personality, known for his sharp analysis on culture. I'm having fun right now, but I have the good brother Al Reynolds joining us. Good. I almost said good afternoon, and it is still good afternoon. Good afternoon, brothers. Welcome to the show.
Absolutely. Afternoon, James and Vincent.
Good afternoon. Good to see you again, Al. Hi. And good to see you as well, James.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, so I know you two are no stranger here, so we're gonna push straight through this. And I first, before we get into some of this little bit more painful stuff, I wanted to get your reaction first, Vince, and then I'll come to you, Al. Nii-Quartelai is in Cuba. We see this crisis that is happening. I just wanted to get your reaction. We're focusing on our Afro-Cuban brothers and sisters. What say you, Vince?
So, I've been to Cuba, I think 5 times at this point in my life, and I've had the benefit of going there over a period of time and really see the progression from before the travel restrictions were relaxed a little bit until after. And what's going on now is really heartbreaking. The story that most people in America don't realize, which Nii-Quartelai is really showing, is how the country is really a Black country. People don't really realize how the Haitian Revolution had a big impact on Cuba. Because of the Haitian Revolution, Cuba became the heart of the sugar plantation system in the Caribbean. The Black revolutionary spirit was transferred over to Cuba from Haitian immigrants. And then when the Cuban Revolution happened, a lot of the white Cubans had the ability to leave and went to Florida and to Miami, and the Black Cubans were left there to fend for themselves under an oppressive regime. There are many ways in which the regime is better than what they had before, but there are many ways in which it was not so good. And our embargo has only made things worse. And I think people need to look at it because it's another example of how people do not want to see majority of Black countries thrive.
Absolutely. Brother Al, I raised this question for you as we all are equally concerned about brothers and sisters in Cuba, right? But some folks are concerned about brothers and sisters right here on the continent, right? Our African-American brothers and sisters, as we all are facing. We talked about this yesterday, gas may be $7, $8 here in LA, but they don't have gas in Cuba. So what's the disconnect that perhaps some of us are misunderstanding when you look at how Brother Vincent just gave us a very precise history of the nation state of Cuba?
Well, you know what? I'm so glad that you bridged that because I was going to talk about what you're going to talk about. I do want to be very clear, and I want to say this clearly. The humanitarian crisis in Cuba is real. People are definitely dealing with blackouts. People of brown skin and black and brown skin hue. There's food shortage. We know that there's a medicine shortage. There's fuel shortage, and then there's the basic stress of survival. So for me, I don't want to minimize it. I don't want to minimize the Cuban suffering because I am definitely pro humanitarian. But like what you just introduced, the thing that gets me uncomfortable is how America seems to know how to recognize a humanitarian crisis when it happens somewhere else. But when suffering is happening right here in the United States, and for me, whether it's DC, Detroit, Baltimore, or Virginia, poor black and brown communities across the country, suddenly we call it personal failure, bad choices, or poor planning. To me, along lines of what you're saying, compassion should not require a passport. Now, let me self-correct on that, right? He's very, very right about this. My rub here is twofold. One is, and let's be honest, the Trump administration is using humanitarian as diplomacy, right? They're using it as a power play. But
are you saying it like they're appropriating the language, or they're I'm not unpack that for me a little bit. I think I know where you're going.
For me, to be honest, with the Trump administration, to me, humanitarian aid is not just humanitarian, in my opinion. It's diplomacy dressed up as charity. Sometimes suffering people become pawns in political chess games, and that's what I feel like is going on here. So yes, we do care about Cuba, but do not use Cuba to avoid looking in the mirror of what's going on in your backyard, which he really doesn't care about either, right? Because black and brown communities across the nation can't afford insulin, can't afford rent, can't afford groceries. Lights are off. That's humanitarian issues too, is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to marry the two because Vincent Jones made it so poignant, so politically sound, and I was like, that is smart. But I don't like the fact that we just don't overlook the issues that we have going on in America, because they're just as real. They're just as humanitarian focused. And but I don't at the same time want to minimize what's going on in Cuba. Is all I'm trying.
I think there's an opportunity, brothers, if we collectively do this, and this isn't the otherism or the whataboutism and kind of all the other things, right? I think the opportunity is because barbershop and conversations were happening about some of the interest being on perhaps our brown brothers and sisters,
right?
And many brothers, at least I've talked to, kind of felt neglected out of the conversation again, right? When the emphasis went to the maltreatment of other folks here in our communities, right?
Right.
And so I think perhaps, and Brother Al, I don't want to commoditize it or objectify it and say that this is a thing, right? But I think perhaps our brothers and sisters here domestically could see the mirror this time instead of kind of watching the injustice out the window, if that makes sense.
No, for sure. I think America cannot keep marketing itself as like the world's emergency room while treating its own poor people like we're walk-ins with no insurance and urgent care. That's a nightmare to me. But I need America to understand something as well, and that is that compassion cannot be foreign policy strategy. You know what I'm saying? Because that's kind of what it feels like under this administration, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, what I will, if I can jump in, I wanted to say,
yeah, go ahead, brother.
What I will add is I think the way it also impacts Black people in America and the U.S. in general, as Al was saying, Trump does not care about the people of Cuba. However, who he does care about are the mostly Republican voters in Florida, and many of whom are Cuban. That's and he's trying to really shore up what has become an important piece of the Electoral College for Republicans. And they have felt some kind of way over the past 2 years because of the immigration policy. You probably know those jokes about the woman who did the concert Latinos for Trump, and then end up getting people deported, and they've been kind of changing their tune. So they have to do something to shore up that support, and that will allow Republicans to be able to keep doing their regressive policies here in the United States. So there is the humanitarian issue that I think we should be thinking about abroad, and I do think we should be. I think we have the ability to do both. Trump has decimated our income and as a country, so it makes it harder to do both. We can do both if we were better governed, but he's also using it as a ploy to be able to try to build more political support for his regressive regime.
Right, and in South Florida and in Florida, that is heavily Cuban, but white Cuban, and he used a lot of that influx of the money.
Explain that real quick, brother Al, because I think some people, and we don't want to make assumptions. Some people just think Cuban is Cuban, right? But explain that difference. So I know you're speaking about like a Marco Rubio type, right? But go ahead and go ahead.
So I lived in Miami I commuted Miami, lived in Miami for over 15 years. And there was a shift in the early 2000s where an influx of very wealthy Cubans came into South Florida, and kind of what I would say, what I perceive, purchased their ability to have power and influence in the United States because they were extremely wealthy. Well, the hue of those individuals that were extremely wealthy were of the lighter skin hue, who could possibly pass for almost not white American, but European, if you would. Sure. So they were given access, they were given privilege due to their money and their lighter hue of their skin. And Vincent Jones, he sounds like the historian over there, so he can help you better than I can.
What we're going to do, because when we come forward, as we get prepared for news and sports and all of those updates, when we come forward, I want to continue this part of. I promised that we were going to lighten it up a little bit and get into some more. I have a cultural architect and a strategist on with me today, and so I don't want to, albeit very importantly, use all of our airtime today. I do want to lighten up the conversation. So when we come forward, I want to get your reactions on the possible rollback of the 14th Amendment. Then we'll get into some more cultural Black folks thing on the other side. Stay with us only on KBLA Talk 1580. We got your Black.
The audience is listening, thought-provoking, eye-opening, heart-rendering. This is where authentic voices meet powerful discussions on culture, community, and change. This is where Black voices matter. He's breaking boundaries, amplifying diverse perspectives, and tackling the issues that matter most to you. You're inside A More Perfect Union with Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Jacksonville, Florida residents are pushing back on the possibility of a new jail in historically redlined Black neighborhoods. City Council rejected a proposal to block that, with most members saying it's too early because no sites have been proposed yet. Black Councilman Aaron Deshaun Constant has been arrested in North Carolina after being indicted by a grand jury. State investigators say the 34-year-old is charged with 2 felony counts of obtaining property by false pretense and 1 felony count of identity theft. And the city of Detroit is earning an upgrade in their credit rating. Moody's Ratings is giving the city an A3, while S&P Global is raising their rating to BBB+. This is the city's 12th straight year of credit increases. The Moody rating marks the first A for Detroit since 1999. Black Mayor Mary Sheffield says the upgrade shows fiscal discipline can exist along with increased investment. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Head to Waba Grill for $5 happy hour weekdays after 3 p.m. and try our new chili crisp dumplings paired with a premium beverage drink like our new strawberry watermelon lemonade energy refresher, both for just $5 only at Waba Grill.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Alabama State is the only HBCU competing in the 64-team NCAA baseball tournament. The tournament begins Friday at sites around the country. Alabama State, champions of the SWAC Conference, was placed in the Tuscaloosa Regional. The Hornets will play Alabama, the host school, on Friday in Tuscaloosa at 4 p.m. LA time. For Alabama State alumni in the LA area, you can catch the game live on ESPN+. UCLA is the #1 overall seed in the tournament The Bruins are 51-6. The NBA gave a warning to San Antonio Spurs star Victor Wembanyama for not speaking to reporters after the Spurs Game 5 loss to Oklahoma City in the Western Conference Finals. Wembanyama refused to go to the media room for the post-game press conference. The NBA has fined players as much as $25,000 for refusing to cooperate with the media. Game 6 is Thursday night in San Antonio. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
You have something to say, and we want to hear it. KBLA Talk 1580 is engagement radio, not outrage radio. A place where your hopes, your frustrations, and your ideas are welcome 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Real talk, real people, real Los Angeles. KBLA Talk 1580, the station that sounds like the city looks. Tune in on your AM radio dial at 1580. Download our free KBLA 1580 app or listen live on our website at KBLA1580.com.
Unapologetically progressive.
This isn't a talk show. It's a town hall with no walls. This is KBLA Talk 1580.
Let me tell you something about Los Angeles. This city doesn't have small problems, so it damn sure doesn't need small, weak leadership. That's why I support Karen Bass. She walked into a system that was slow, broken, and reluctant to change. She cut through red tape and started moving people off the streets into housing. She created the Office of Community Safety to make our neighborhood safer, supported wage increases for many underpaid workers, expanded contract opportunities for small minority business, and signed an executive order to give formerly incarcerated people a second chance. Karen Bass is about real change. I'm Samuel L. Jackson, and I've seen a lot of people talk tough. Karen Bass is tough. That's why I'm voting for Karen Bass, and you should too. So vote today. You received your ballot in the mail by now. You don't even have to go to the polls. Just fill out your ballot and hand it to your postal worker. No stamp needed.
Paid for by Re-elect Karen Bass for Mayor 2026, 445 South Figueroa Street, Suite 2400, Los Angeles, California, 90071. Funding details at ethics.lacity.gov.
Let's be real. For too long, too many of our students have sat in overcrowded classrooms in underfunded public schools.
But as head of the San Diego School Board, Richard Barrera changed that.
Under Barrera's leadership, student literacy rose from the state average all the way to #1 among major urban school districts. Barrera led the way for smaller classrooms and for teachers to be paid what they're worth.
Barrera funded more counselors and mental health services, and community schools that teach real-world skills for future jobs.
A community organizer who became an education leader to fight for our kids. The only candidate for State Superintendent of Public Instruction,
backed by the 310,000 classroom educators of the California Teachers Association. Vote Democrat Richard Barrera for State Superintendent.
Ad paid for by California Teachers Association Independent Expenditure Committee, not authorized by a candidate or committee controlled by a candidate.
Javier Becerra isn't new to the fight for progress. In Congress, he helped write and pass Obamacare. As Attorney General, he sued Trump over 120 times and won. As Secretary of Health, Becerra took on special interests and lowered drug costs. Endorsed by Planned Parenthood and nurses, Javier Becerra is the fighter we need and the leader we can trust to tackle California's affordability crisis, build more affordable housing, and stop Trump when he violates our civil rights. Ad paid for by Becerra for Governor 2026.
Hit me! National News The Consequence. Informed opinion and analysis beyond the headlines. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
That's right. You're listening and streaming A More Perfect Union. I'm James Farr. I'm sitting in for Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, who is on assignment in Havana, Cuba, reporting live daily right here on his program, bringing you the updates on the ground, and we're specifically focusing on the impact of this devastation that is happening on that nation island state to our Afro-Cuban brothers and sisters. But right now I'm in conversation with two brothers that I was left a note in the desk that said, give them a prompt question and let them go. I have Al Reynolds and Vincent Jones, cultural icon, strategists, and all of the above. And they got going and started cooking it a little bit on as we got to talking about Cuba before we came forward. And I promised the brothers that we were going to have a little levity this afternoon, but I'd be remiss if I didn't take the moment that we're in right now where we, that old saying, if they came for you today, they may be coming for me tonight, right? And I'll start with you, Al. The possibility of rolling back the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, birthright citizenship, that means what?
Let me tell you something. This is Trump's attempt to restrict birthright citizenship. To me, it's not an immigration story. I'm sorry, I don't buy it. You're never going to get me to buy it. This is a story of power. This is a story of the American identity. But more than anything, my underbelly of who I am and how I think, this is a race story. All right. And let me tell you why Black folks, immigrants, and anybody who cares about democracy better pay attention. Now, remember, the 14th Amendment was born out of America's ugliest history, right? Back in the 1800s. It was the answer to Dred Scott, right? It was the answer to a country that once said Black people have no rights, and it was bound to respect that, right? That meant that, remember, in 1857, Dred Scott decision was by the United States Supreme Court, which basically said Black people, whether slaved or free, could never be citizens of the United States and therefore did not have rights of citizenship. Now, we got to understand something now, right? That decision was one of the most racial and devastating rulings in American history. Do you think that that's coming up all of a sudden for just no reason? Do you think the bypass of what he's talking about when he talks about immigration does not or would not or possibly, like you say, affect us tomorrow or even this evening? To me, I say yes. I say that we have to understand that Dred Scott said that Black people could not be citizens, and in the direction that he's going with this, thank goodness, it's caught up in the courts. But I think Vincent, when are they deciding? Is it the end of June?
That's when. So they've already had the oral arguments, and it can technically come at any point in time. But at this point,
we're waiting on the rule. Yeah,
right. So I guess
what I wanted to ask you, Vincent, kind of just riffing off of what Brother Al said. His language and framing was I believe if I wrote it down right, the ugliest time of America, right? So are we with America's ugly twin sister right now? I mean, I imagine it's different for us than it was our ancestors, but it don't look too promising. I should say I don't have much optimism. Is a better way.
I think you should always be optimistic, and I want to shift the question a little bit because I think something that people don't think about often when they think about the 14th Amendment is the power of Black-led organizing and how Black-led organizing has made democracy stronger for everyone. At Beyond Impact, we're a pro-Black organization, and we believe very strongly in Black-led organizing for this reason. And the 14th Amendment is a perfect example. Yes, brother, I was totally correct. It was created because children of slaves were not considered to be citizens. And so we had to fix that issue. And so initially, it was intended to help Black people who were born of enslaved parents to be recognized as citizens, but it's been expanded to mean for everyone. And that is one of many examples how Black-led organizing, has been able to expand what it means to be American to include everyone. If you're Latino, if you're Asian, if you're white, European, ethnic, whatever it might be. And we need to support more Black-led organizing right now to this day so that we can be able to fight back against Trump's efforts to roll us back to the ugliest time in American history.
Right. But so
Vincent, you're not saying that our ancestors wet nursed citizenship for many folks to come.
I'm not saying it that way.
You're not saying it. Okay, I
yeah.
want to make sure.
I'm saying that we Fannie Lou Hamered it. I'm saying that we Sojourner Truth did. I'm saying that we Harriet Tubman did to be able to really be able to expand what it means to be American for everybody. But I get your analogy, brother.
But let me tell you, James, I get nervous when politicians start playing games with the 14th Amendment. Don't put the Senate politicians and 14th Amendment people changing that. Because this is not just about who gets papers. This is about who gets to belong, in my opinion. And if a president can reinterpret birthright citizenship by executive order, then the Constitution starts looking less of like a foundation and more like a reorg. Like you can decide, in my opinion, citizenship should not depend on politics and who is in the White House. That to me does not belong together. We have a constitution for a reason, and it's got to be protected at all costs.
Well, I am managing my time, and I think I got enough time to get into this because I promise, like I have two individuals on the line with us that are so well read and just in touch with the culture. I'm a father with a kid in college, a young lady in college, not quite yet graduating. Hadn't quite paid attention to college graduations in quite some time, and seems like my timeline has just been flooded with Black joy and rebuke. Right? It just depends on which side of how you experience it, but I see it as joy. Last year, at this time, we saw a lot of Black graduation celebrations eliminated on PWI campuses. 1 year later, some schools have they're doing them again, and the HBCUs, they just do what they do, right? There's no question about what it is. It just is. How important, first of all, Brother Vincent, is the recognition and celebration of a Black, kind of like that Sankofa Black graduation celebration for those Black students?
They're very important. What I think is more important, though, is make sure we have Black students who are able to get in to college. And I want to also, and I'm sorry to take the question a little different way, but the thing that I remember the most when I went to a predominantly white college, that was an amazing place. Black Enterprise was one of the top 10 places for Black kids to get educated, despite it being a predominantly white college. But the majority of the Black students there were not descendants of African-American slaves. And I think what do you mean by that? Conversation is an important one to have, because we should make sure that Black students who graduate have joy. But the more important conversation is, how are we making sure that we are having equity so that all Black students are able to get to college, to be able to have that celebration and shout out their joy however they want to show it?
I love it. I love it. What say you, Brother Al?
Well, I'm going to tell you, my undergraduate work and my graduate work was done at a PWI. However, I have been teaching at HBCUs now going on almost 20 years. And I got to tell you, my first HBCU graduation, the way they were jumping and swinging and singing and stepping, I was mortified, James and Vincent. I was like, oh my gosh, I was on the
clutching your pearls.
I was on the graduation committee, and I was like, oh, we have got
that's so rich. Why though? Why did you?
I'm gonna unpack it for you, Brother James. Just give me 1 second.
Okay.
And then I had, and I'm sitting at a HBCU in South Florida, and the committee says to me, come over here, let me talk to you for a second. And they really broke it down, and they gave me true meaning to it. They told me, and I realized it, and as the years have passed, many of our families, graduation, you can't look at it as just a ceremony. It's a family victory lap. It really is a family victory lap. It's the mother who worked overtime. It's the grandmother who prayed. It was the uncle who slipped them gas money. Right. It was the professors who gave them one more chance. It was a whole village. It was the church that raised money for their tuition. It was it was a movement and it was a celebration. So yes, I did incorporate or included or accepted that. Take pictures, wear the custom stole, have the dinners, jump around on stage. Just do it, not when I'm trying to get 500 kids across the stage. And let your auntie scream from section 204 like she's at the Super Bowl. It's all okay, actually. You deserve it, because at that point, I realized that this isn't about one kid. This isn't about one graduation. This isn't about a ceremony at a university. This is about an entire village is exhaling, that a kid is going across the stage instead into the penal system. And I teach in the jail. So for me, let them holler, let them scream, let them dance, let them jump. Just don't do it when you walk across the stage to get your degree.
Just don't do it when Al Reynolds is on the stage and you are delaying him.
Delaying me to get to the other.
To get you your degree and your diploma. Vincent Jones, Al Reynolds, guest today, A More Perfect Union. I promise, guys, when we come forward, we're going to talk a little bit more about joyous cookout season. I mean, what are we doing with our twos and fews? Gas is high. You know, are you going to bring the tater salad, or who's going to bring the beans? What does the summer look like? Stay with us only on KBLA Talk 1580. We got a lot to talk about.
Striving to make America a nation as good as its promise. This is A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Javier Becerra isn't new to the fight for progress. In Congress, he helped write and pass Obamacare. As Attorney General, he sued Trump over 120 times and won. As Secretary of Health, Becerra took on special interests and lowered drug costs. Endorsed by Planned Parenthood and nurses, Javier Becerra is the fighter we need and the leader we can trust to tackle California's affordability crisis, build more affordable housing, and stop Trump when he violates our civil rights. Ad paid for by Becerra for Governor 2026.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-2013. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-444-2013 or biglou.com.
Are you still pouring gallons and gallons of water into a thirsty lawn that never seems to get enough water? LADWP has a special offer for a free water-saving front yard refresh available to eligible LADWP residential customers. LADWP handles all the work, including lawn removal, installing an efficient irrigation system, and planting beautiful California-friendly plants. Save water and lower your bill with a free front yard refresh. See if you qualify at LADWP.com/LEAP. That's LADWP.com/LEAP.
Javier Becerra isn't new to the fight for progress. In Congress, he helped write and pass Obamacare. As Attorney General, he sued Trump over 120 times and won. As Secretary of Health, Becerra took on special interests and lowered drug costs. Endorsed by Planned Parenthood and nurses, Javier Becerra is the fighter we need and the leader we can trust to tackle California's affordability crisis, build more affordable housing, and stop Trump when he violates our civil rights. Ad paid for by Becerra for Governor 2026.
Let's be real. For too long, too many of our students have sat in overcrowded classrooms in underfunded public schools.
But as head of the San Diego School Board, Richard Barrera changed that.
Under Barrera's leadership, student literacy rose from the state average all the way to #1 among major urban school districts. Barrera led the way for smaller classrooms and for teachers to be paid what they're worth.
Barrera funded more counselors and mental health services, and community schools that teach real-world skills for future jobs.
A community organizer who became an education leader to fight for our kids. the only candidate for State Superintendent of Public Instruction,
backed by the 310,000 classroom educators of the California Teachers Association. Vote Democrat Richard Barrera for State Superintendent.
Ad paid for by California Teachers Association Independent Expenditure Committee, not authorized by a candidate or committee controlled by a candidate.
Let me tell you something about Los Angeles. This city doesn't have small problems, so it damn sure doesn't need small, weak leadership. That's why I support Karen Bass. She walked into a system that was slow, broken, and reluctant to change. She cut through red tape and started moving people off the streets into housing. She created the Office of Community Safety to make our neighborhood safer, supported wage increases for many underpaid workers, expanded contract opportunities for small minority business, and signed an executive order to give formerly incarcerated people a second chance. Karen Bass is about real change. I'm Samuel L. Jackson, and I've seen a lot of people talk tough. Karen Bass is tough. That's why I'm voting for Karen Bass, and you should too. So vote today. You received your ballot in the mail by now. You don't even have to go to the polls. Just fill out your ballot and hand it to your postal worker. No stamp needed.
Paid for by Re-elect Karen Bass for Mayor 2026, 445 South Figueroa Street, Suite 2400, Los Angeles, California, 90071. Funding details at ethics.lacity.gov.
Javier Becerra isn't new to the fight for progress. In Congress, he helped write and pass Obamacare. As Attorney General, he sued Trump over 120 times and won. As Secretary of Health, Becerra took on special interests and lowered drug costs. Endorsed by Planned Parenthood and nurses, Javier Becerra is the fighter we need and the leader we can trust to tackle California's affordability crisis, build more affordable housing, and stop Trump when he violates our civil rights. Ad paid for by Becerra for Governor 2026.
Notable journalists, industry leaders, lawmakers, change makers, tastemakers, and you, working to build a more perfect union on KBLA Talk 1580.
That's right. You're streaming and listening to A More Perfect Union. I'm James Farr. I'm sitting in for the good Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey. And yes, we are in conversation with tastemakers and cultural icons and folks who are shaping the culture and reporting on the culture and all the things in the culture. Al Reynolds and Vincent Jones. We've had a, spirited conversation. Kind of got to land this thing in just a few moments, but I wanted to make sure that we, as we kind of get to this saying the quiet part out loud, I'm just going to say it, man. I am ready for a barbecue. I am ready for some good cooking and some good fellowship and a good game of spades and some dominoes. How are you two looking as we kind of just coming off of the first unofficial weekend of summer? What does the summer look like for y'all? Brother Vincent.
Well, I have a milestone birthday next month, the day before Juneteenth. So I'm looking forward to celebrating myself a little bit. And then also this summer, Beyond Impact, we're organizing some donor trips to Mississippi, help people to see what's happening on the ground there, joyful and struggle-wise, and also some things in Martha's Vineyard. To be able to connect with the good folk who gather there. And I'm going to put my foot in some ribs. I had got last summer, my ribs got, my family approved them. They asked for seconds, so I knew they were good. They wanted to take some home, and I am looking forward to making some ribs.
Now, Vincent, I'm gonna say it on air, so you just have to deal with it. You can't say to black folks you having a milestone birthday, and I'm looking at you, and you had a day over 30. So, what milestone will you be celebrating, brother?
You think I'm gonna put it out there? You can say 30. Whatever a milestone means to you, that's what it means to me.
That's what you see. I tried to slide that in on him, Al.
I saw you. I just wanted to hear how he was gonna play it off.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to, Brother Al?
Well, let me tell you. I'm going to take my champagne taste, but beer having money, because this economy has affected me. And I'm going to be doing a whole Netflix and chill summer all along. I think I'm going to try to do more home-based type stuff. Probably go, stay close to home, stay close to the DMV, probably some cookouts. But majority, I think, will be kind of like me, Netflix and chill. Netflix and chill. It's a very challenging time at the institution that I'm at right now, and I'm gonna just lay low until this cloud passes. But hopefully, I do on the upside. I do hope to incorporate visiting a lot of family. You know how like back in the day when you really couldn't get away, you go visit family. So I'll probably do a little family hopping, visiting my brothers and sisters, enjoying my nieces and nephews, and just chilling.
Well, I pray when I get down south this year that the family has lessened the hand on the salt. Right. I mean, I am really praying that the Lord lead that hand a little bit lighter on the salt. And you went where I thought you were going. I'm not a savant, brother Reynolds, but you know, I am thinking about the quiet part out loud. For me, is balling on a budget, right?
Yeah.
It is doing as many of the things that I can do that I enjoy, but doing them within a confined budget. I once was told by someone who I knew to be affluent, I foolishly made the remark that, you know, I was on a fixed income. And they politely replied, so were they. It's just that theirs had more commas and zeros, but it was still very much. and final thought, how can people reach you, Brother Al, Brother Vincent? We got about 90 seconds before I got to land this thing.
Sure. I'm on all social media platforms. It's at the Al Reynolds. That's at THEAL Reynolds, REYNOLDS.
And for me at beyondimpact.org, that's our website. On the socials, beyondimpact.org, on Instagram or TikTok. And people can email me, vjones@beyondimpact.org.
I am truly grateful to have been in conversation with the both of you. I enjoy the frequent conversations that you have right here with Dr. Nii-Quartelai. Don't tell him that I broke it. I held it together, and I'm looking forward to him getting back in this seat next week. I appreciate you guys again being here with us. Hey, Andy, thank you so much for helping me figure all of this tech stuff out in here. Our amazing team here at KBLA Talk 1580, Art and the team, and Amir Black, and our wonderful executive producer, Mr. Tavis Smiley. I appreciate you allowing me to sit in this seat. Hey, folks, when we come forward, Jill Monroe is up. She is bringing you the latest cultural entertainment and all the things right here in the industry. Hey, stay with us only on KBLA Talk 1580. Brothers, again, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We got a lot to talk about.
And the city of Detroit is earning an upgrade in their credit rating. Moody's Ratings is giving the city an A3, while S&P Global is raising their rating to BBB+. The